Hi, I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the back of his Teardown lab. We're going to make the final push today, hopefully, if nothing goes wrong, on my big clock, my massive big clock. And I've done a little bit of research and you can see here, the shaded part of an electrolytic here is the negative. And that's the bit we didn't know last time, or you knew and I couldn't hear you because you weren't shouting loud enough at the screen, but that's fine. Boosh. We're just going to crack on with it. I just didn't know that it was the negative side. It's hardly my fault, of course. It's the industry's fault. I'm just not standardising. The Chinese kit industry. I'm just going to squiz a bit of these on and tack them in before I'll zoom in and you can have a look, see what I'm doing. But I'm just going to get the main legs in so they just won't go anywhere. It gives me a little breathing room. There we go. Did a little blow on that, a little blow. Make sure it's so those are the legs there. Don't know if you can quite see them. There you go, like a little jungle of legs. God, it's getting quite busy, this board, isn't it? A bit populated. Bush, bush, bush. All done. All done. Nicely done. Get those off. Those off, get those off, and we'll keep those just in case we have any more bloody jumpers to do. There's actually congealed blood on this board. Look at that, from my finger. Gross. Buy this board off me and you get a bit of me with it. Look at this though, there's some weird footprints. What's a DS2? There's a part here that we don't even have. It's really disturbing. Oh, I know why, because maybe some of those are transistors that we've now got on the back with surface mount stuff, he says, rather blurrily. Right, we've got the main chip and then we've got these red LEDs. I think let's get the red LEDs out of the way because they're going to be the most painful. And they've conveniently got that sort of symbol, but the symbol doesn't help me. So I'm just going to quickly look on my phone and we're going to get the LED PCB symbol. Because of LEDs, of course, are diodes and they have a polarity. Put them in the wrong way and you're going to have a problem. So it says here in this picture that the cathode is the flat edge and the cathode is the negative. And you'll know that I always have long leg positive written on my board here. Long leg positive, the flat end is negative. Long leg positive, the flat end is... So we put the long leg on the roundy bit. There we go. We're going to put the long leg on the roundy bit. Now there's opportunity for me to get this wrong, like totally wrong on this board, and I have to admit, if I'd done it wrong, I'm not going to finish this board. The long leg on the roundy bit. If I have to take out all of these LEDs, this board becomes a prize to one unlucky winner to finish. So I hope I've got these the right way around. Otherwise, I'm going to do my absolute nut. And I based it all my knowledge, on that one little picture I saw on my phone on a random website through a Google search. But that's how I roll. I think though, theoretically, we could just do the red LEDs, and I think I can power this up, to be honest, without the rest in it. I'm quite confident of that. And also I've just noticed another couple more bloody jumpers. So many jumpers. Golf host for jumpers. So let's do that. Let's not. Let's do this incrementally. And if you're doing it at home, you can do the same way, so you don't have to like freak out and panic. Now, this is where some other sort of material would be good. I'm going to try to take some of this sort of packing foam. I don't know what you call it. Bubble jazzles, and kind of do this. Yeah, kind of works. And then I'm going to just sort of try to solder those LEDs in. I'm just going to push on the bubble jazzles while I get the one leg each done. That way that they're sort of tacked in. Although they're only tacked in, at least they're probably going to be tacked in as close to the finished position as you're likely to want. Actually, I saw that one move. I can notice the camera now is really getting confused on the old focusing. Tell you what, I'll just work quickly. I think it could be the smoke. I'm going to work quick, don't worry. If you can't see at home, don't worry. I'm a-coming. I'm going to get there. Right. That whole foamy thing might be useful to flip it over when you got the white LEDs in. Right, so there's only a few of them are not quite sitting right, so... I'm just going to go and do them all. Bang. Did you hear that? It makes a sort of bang. Ooh, that one moved a lot. We hope it's kits. Chinese kit manufacturers, why don't you email me and say and send me some of your kits? I buy virtually all my Chinese kits, whereas really I think I'd do a good job of reviewing a Chinese kit, don't you? I say reviewing it, I wouldn't review it, I would just build it and then tell you if I thought it was a good kit or not. That's, well, I suppose that is the nature of a review. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'll do a practical review in that I'd actually build it, but I think anyone doing a probably kit review would have to build it, wouldn't they? Does anyone review jigsaw puzzles? Is there a popular jigsawist magazine? Because that one could be an interesting one, because if you've got like a million piece jigsaw, come on Joe, we got to get the article to the printers. You've got till tomorrow. And then they got to build a million piece jigsaw puzzle for the photo shoot for the article. I bet they just you know, they just have a deal with the manufacturer. Send us some photos ready to go. Just chopping off the legs, by the way, if you weren't sure what I was doing, but I wasn't just manhandling the PCB inappropriately. I was just trying to get all these little legsies off. Get your legsies off. Right, now that's all of our red LEDs on. Let's put in our main CPU, because that's really all that's left of the main components apart from just a bunch of other LEDs. So technically at this stage, if it doesn't go on, then we've probably got other problems to worry about. There are 2 jumpers that are needed. Tell you what, let's get those jumpers done, just in case there's something critical. They might do, I think they're just going to be jumpers that jump over to the LED stages, but they're worth doing. So I'm going to use my new technique now of gauging it somewhere along my tweezers and bending them down. Yes, I do like this technique. This is definitely less bloodletty than the earlier technique I was using, which could result in me stabbing them through my finger like a very sharp, dirty lead pin. This will be weird. I'll probably get like a disease that only like smokers get, but I'm not a smoker. They'll say, "Are you sure?" I say, "Definitely." Oh, you must be a kit maker. In our profession, we call kit making the widow maker. It makes the widows. Alright, let's get that in there. Good. Ah! Oh, that was hot. The Widowmaker. I don't think I'm going to be going to expire just from a slight burn. But that's how it starts, isn't it? But while I'm here, I'm just going to give it a quick brush from top to bottom, and I'm not doing it with proper juice or anything. It's just, you know, just to make sure there's no bits of metal. I'm not doing the whole getting rid of all the flux, get the board clean routine. We need some power, and there seems to be a jumper here. Could that be the 5-volt power jumper? There is another friggin' jumper. Look, in there. You guys are killing me, man. You're killing me. Just want to get it on. Get it on. Get this kit motor in. Right. Get in there. Ooh, bit of a PCB gouge there. I was very angry with that. I have to admit I was a bit too angry. Angry kit making. That's not good. I was going a bit Vin Diesel with it. Tell you what, let's do it again. I'm going to get a fresh piece. That was not very fitting, wasn't it? If I was Dwayne the Rock Johnson, it would be most embarrassing to do it, lose my cool. Get in there, get in there. Yes, look at that, that's a beautiful jumper. I know it's a bit sad, right? But that is a beautiful jumper, isn't it? I mean, let's not beat around the bush. I know that there are ladies out there who are watching this and going, "Oh, Andrew, that is a beautiful jumper. I wish he'd make jumpers for me." And that's why I am a kit-making alpha male here. Clearly, the only time in my life I can be an alpha is part of the kit-building fraternity. And yes, this jumper is for that. There is 2 power pins here, and they are inappropriately spaced, so I do have to cut this pin header, which is kind of lame. Bit weak, guys. That's some weak sauce right there. But you know, okay, fine, whatever. I'm just glad that they've given us some jumpers there, and it's going to be really hot. That's going to just be. Ooh. I'm making noises. Those are the noises to distract from the pain. Yeah, that's alright. We've done it. Oh, look at that though. Look how wonky they are. Do you see them? They're all bent up. That's no good though. That means I gotta hold them again. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing. And your PCBs for free. 5 volts, eh? Power supply on. 4-point-ish. 5 volts-ish. Right. That's 5 volts. Ready? Contact. Oh! There's an LED there. Red LED is on. Can you see it? Yes, it's counting the seconds. Brilliant. Okay, good. That's enough testing of that. That means, of course, that we were right with our LEDs and the long leg to the roundy. Technical term. So it just means we've got loads of them to do now. I'm going to zoom out for this because I mean, if I'm doing them wrong, you're not able to correct me anyway. Long leg positive. If they sort of made the footprint just right, which they kind of haven't, it would have a bit more bite as you're pushing them through, so it would be like, and then they would all sort of stay quite firm, but that's fine. I'm just wondering if there's an interesting way for me to solder these now, that I could use maybe the hot air, run a bead of solder paste around them, and then maybe the hot air. But when I did the red LEDs, they were a bit flopsy, weren't they? They did kind of flop out a bit, and that'll be a danger for me, because I'll do my bead and hot air and all of that, and then I'll have 2,000 LEDs to fix up, which that will not be good. Although saying that, maybe I'll have to fix them up anyway, so I shouldn't really worry about it. Just chuck them in. That'll tack them in nice and quickly, and you'll be done. So I've got a decision at this point. I can decide now what kind of power supply I want to run these off. Or maybe I'm never really going to use this as a clock right now. It doesn't have a case. So I'll just not worry about it. Just run it off the jumpers. But I could, of course, populate one of those corners. They all have to be 5 volts DC. So I think I would use a USB one in an ideal world, because I think the USB one is your safest, because it's going to be already regulated, and there we go, it's already regulated, easy to get hold of. The only bit that's just slightly tricky is the footprint, and you can see there, yeah, okay, they've used a through-hole USB on that, and those are great. I want to incorporate through-hole USB on my designs because they actually are quite a pain in the arse to solder, and I missed one, and mechanically they can be quite weak, of course, because owing to that whole way that you hand solder them, they're just not good. Just trust me. The surface mount one is okay if it's done in a factory and they do it with a machine, but when you do it by hand, it's just never quite right, never quite aligned right. There's so many ways of getting it wrong. Although it's much smaller to fit, which is nice. It doesn't take up as much room on your PCB, and of course you can do stuff underneath it. This one is actually the footprint for the USB, the surface mount one. I'm not going to flip it over right now though and show you. I just noticed the camera turned itself off into sleep mode, which is really annoying because it means potentially that I've lost my last bit of video of doing all of this brilliant soldering, which will be most upsetting for me, and upsetting for you at home too, I should think, because we were in this together. Lost footage is lost knowledge. That is definitely not on, is it? So if I have lost that, then that's a pain, but I'll tell you, I've just been soldering the legs on in a roundy way, and I'm really hoping not to have lost the last probably, you know what, 40 minutes of work. We're almost there though, look, we're almost there. Nearly there. And that's it. Time to chop off the legs. Oh, it's going to be tedious. Got to clean them every 2. That's fine. Can live with that. I'm really looking forward though to firing this up. I don't know how long it's taken in total. It's probably a couple hours work. Oh, look at that, that's some serious nomming. Serious nommage going on. Have a look. We'll do some close-up nomming so you can have a look. But yeah. It's like a big old ball on the end of the tool there. Oh, little break. I'm about 50% of the way through, and then after that we're done. It's cool. Can you imagine now putting all these LEDs in wrong? That would be a bit of a miff. I'd feel quite miffed at that, and I wouldn't know whether or not it'd be quicker to sort of start again with a fresh kit or continue. I guess it would probably be quicker just to sort of remove them and start again, but going to give it a little bit of a brush down before we power up. Ugh. That's it. Brush down time. That gets rid of any bits and bobs. Let's hook on our power leads, our negative and our positive. Come on, play the game. Power. Oh, there we go. Turn on the wrong things. Yeah, I can see you see the red light there? Not sure what I'm seeing there. Okay, so there's... I've got a bit of a freak out going on with the power there. Going to try giving it a little bit more power, just a little bit more than 5 volts. So this button seems to be setting something. Oh, look, that's the minutes. And that's the hours. No, this bit does. Setting it going. I do seem to have some issues here with these LEDs. We've got some white ones going. Or in this case we've got red ones coming on, but the white ones are not. But then we saw the white ones come on earlier. Just having a little fiddle on the back here. It's a shame it doesn't have a test where it will just put all the lights on. Maybe if we turn it off and then on again. Now I'm pretty sure I did see the white LEDs coming on. Okay, so now we're going to go into debug mode. So the first thing in debug mode I'm going to do is clean the board because it is sticky. I only just really noticed that now. So there's our paste, our flux removing cleaner. I'm going to give it a bloody good scrub. That's what we're doing. That's it, we're getting it into all the nooks and crannies. And just give it a wipe down. It's a relatively lint-free cloth, so that's okay. It's catching a bit, but that's fine. If it was a linty cloth and it would catch on all those surface mount things, it would drive you bonkers, I can assure you. Right, so now we have a clean PCB, just inspecting it with my eyeballs. Making sure that there's no obvious signs of any stuff on there, any bad stuff. No, it all looks pretty good. I see a lot of good stuff going on here. I see a few empty looking tracks though. I want to kind of turn those over. Do you remember all those jumpers? Just make sure we didn't remove or miss out any of those bloody jumpers. No. It's weird, it's got DC2, 4.5 volts or 5 volts. It's got odd power supplies. Right, we're going to hook up the power supply again. So we had red, white, 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 kind of white dimmer. It is doing it. I don't know at the angle if you can see it or not. The whites are going, actually. And then now they sort of, I think they've just gone really dim. So I think in terms of debugging, and I have to admit I don't have the time to do it now, so maybe that's the hooray, it's working, lovely clock video. But in reality, I'll tell you where I would check first. I would check certainly some of the values of these resistors, and I'm just looking at these drivers. Yeah, like most things, it's just check and double check the sort of various components. I'm just looking here at these power rails, because you do have a couple of alternative power rails, but you have the 4.5 DC2. should be fine. Have a quick look also in the instructions. Just have a quick look at what the sort of power input is going on here. So you have DC2 here, which is down here. DC2 is interesting because look, it's a whole different chain of stuff going on. Whereas DC1, D1 and D2, or DC here, is coming off the USB, which is just a solid 5. So that's got a lot of cleaning components there. But all in all, we should be pretty good from the 5 volts in. So a check of the old current. Push the old chips in. Oops. So we're talking about, it says it's 45 milliamps. It's like hardly anything. It's not really using any current. It's a bit weird. You heard it tick then. That's because I gave it a little bit too much. Okay, so that's our 5 volts. It's using loads of current now. That was weird, because all the LEDs were on, I suppose. So I'm going to check what's the sort of power supply circuitry on it doing. Whoa, this chip's hot. Let's knock that off. That's not good. So our main processor is a bit toasty, to be honest with you. It probably ought not to be working that hard. I'm keeping my thumb on it because I want to have a feel, see what it's up to. Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't feel it's particularly warm. It's not evaporating off this liquid, you see. It's not sizzling away. Yeah, it's a shame. You can see the basic sort of clockiness of it all. Looks like it works alright. I'm not sure what S1 does, can't read the instructions. Might be stopwatch. One 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000, 5. Yes, it's working alright, the clock, crystal, everything. Just these drivers for the outer ring. Something for me to play with, something for you to explore if you have this kit. Please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, give us a tip on this if you know one. And as ever, thank you for watching.